What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Cowboys Collective, episode 53. Preseason over with now, John.
Change it up. You change it up, Law.
Dexter Coakley, man, come on with it. I think he wore 53 or 54, something like that. But
Coakley wore 52.
Yeah, I didn't think he wore 53, did he?
Okay. Well, Mark Stemnowski. Come
on. There we go.
Stemnowski. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go, Law. Yeah. We see the people trickling in, guys. We got a loaded show for you guys today. The best podcast in the world. I feel like we could take our time because we got a few shows before game week, for game day. Actually, no. 3 shows before game day. Can y'all believe it?
Yeah.
Sure. Are we even going to get the third show? We go on Thursday. The game's
Thursday. Yeah, the game Thursday. So we want to.
You count tonight as 3 shows.
The 3 shows. Yeah.
I'll tell you this still. We may got to do something. We'll figure it out because we got to get the people. It'll be news out the wazoo. But as always, we're going to start with John Machota, the best reporter in the world for the best podcast in the world. John, what's going on, boots in the ground?
Here's Johnny.
Let's go.
Yeah, we finally got to see what looks like a regular season football practice today. There's still roster cuts to be made. And so no surprises so far yet. I'm sure a lot of people that are listening have already seen the names that have come out of the players that have been released. I think the biggest name out of that is probably Lyle Collins, but I don't know how many people really had him on their 53. I think next on that list might be
John Stevens.
John Stevens or Josh Kelly. I only say Kelly because there were some decent days out in camp. Troy Pride. But yeah, now within the next 24 hours, then they're going to really trim it down. That's when you get down to 53.
All right.
And so it was interesting today at practice because you're seeing if there's guys missing when you're taking roll. Like, okay, are there guys that are potentially being released that aren't out here? Or are there guys that are out here, but they're not doing anything? So maybe they're guys that they're going to try and get over to IR and things like that. And so the ones that were out there but not doing anything were Ernest Brown, Peyton Turner, and Phil Maffa. And so potentially maybe those are guys that maybe they have some type of an injury that they're going to try and get them to open the season on IR so they don't count against 53 and then they're not free to go to another team. So I would keep an eye on those 3 guys. That was kind of notable from today's practice. The other big thing is that Trayvon Diggs and Tyler Guyton were doing individual drills. We're back to a regular season schedule where we don't get to watch team drills anymore. So they're in full preparation now for Philadelphia. So we just get to see the stretching and individuals like the first 20, 30 minutes. And then when they do team, we're not allowed out there. And so during the individuals, though, Diggs and Guyton were doing everything. So I still think week 1 is probably asking a little bit too much, but I don't know that week 2 or week 3 isn't realistic for both those guys. And we go back about 3 weeks and we wouldn't have expected that at all. So I think that's a good sign there. Micah Parsons was not out at practice. I heard he was in the building, but he wasn't at the portion that was open to reporters. So he could have showed up later, but we can't watch that. We can just go off of what we see at that portion that's open to us. So he wasn't there for that, but he was there later. But that's the thing. If he's going to play against Philadelphia, he's going to need to eventually practice. I don't think they just want to throw him out there without any practicing at all Thursday night in Philadelphia. So that remains to be seen if he's going to practice or not.
Yeah, John, I know the Cowboys beat to their own drum, but by these other guys getting signed today, is that any sense of urgency with Jerry Jones or not?
Oh man, this is a good one because I'm fascinated to hear your guys' take on this. Man, I saw that Trey Hendrickson deal and I was like, in what world does that have any impact on Micah Parsons?
It doesn't.
I laughed when I looked at it. I'm like, oh, wait, this is the one that everybody said, wait till the Hendrickson deal gets done. It bumps his salary up $14 million, I think it was, to 30. So that's $30 million. Micah's next deal, whether it's with the Cowboys or somebody else, isn't going to be under 40. So when I saw that, I was just kind of like, that doesn't do anything. Also, all it does is it's a 1-year deal. Hendrickson still gets to free agency next year. That's not anything. That's not even an option for a Micah Parsons deal. So when I saw that, I was like, that doesn't do anything. And then Terry McLaurin, I guess to me, it was more of, I think that it's a fair deal for what he's been and the player that he is. And it looks like that Washington really, ever since ownership changed, they're just a different franchise now. They're not the one that you can just kind of look at the schedule every year and go, well, that'll be 2 wins for the Cowboys. Like, you can't. Like that. They've become a well-run organization. And so it doesn't surprise me that got done. That's a big piece for them. They would be without him. They'd be in some trouble without him. Yeah.
I think the one with Terry, me being close to the situation, is the age. With Micah, there's no age restraints. And I think the kind of pushback and why they were waiting on him, and he really got top tier 2 money. He didn't get tier 1 receiver money. But yeah, I mean, they did get it done. So, kudos to them.
Would you guys be interested in giving that contract to George Pickens?
Ooh, that's a good mirror,
or do you need to see more?
Where do you group Pickens? Is he like with Smitty and them, and Brandon Ayuk?
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
if
quarterback
he goes to free agency, I can see a team giving him number 1 money if he has a big year this year. But I'm saying for the Cowboys, I don't see them paying Dak, CD, and Micah all of what they're gonna, be at, and then give Pickens number 1 receiver money. So that's why I'm saying he would probably have to be at the top of tier 2. So that's
top of tier 2.
Yeah.
I don't see them paying him. What is CD 34?
Yeah.
It'd have to be below that.
It'd be below, and I would do it. I would pay him what Terry got. I'm gonna tell y'all, man. I think that highly of George Pickens. That's just me. I don't think it's tough because, and this is off the rails, because I had a few other things I want to talk about, but with Pickens, people say, well, Terry played with bad quarterbacks, and he did for sure. Right. I just don't think people understand the ineptitude of the quarterbacks that, we see Kenny Pickett got traded again today. Right. That was one of his quarterbacks. Like, he just played with bad quarterback play, but his what he can do with a good quarterback, I think fans are going to see it this year. So.
No doubt. Terry's been through some darker times though in terms of the team around him than Jordan.
Good team for sure.
There's some times I remember going out to taking that Uber out to FedEx and being like, that's about the only guy that I really even care to watch today from on the other side.
What's crazy, John? That was I'm telling y'all, that's what the hang up was, is he's done it for so long, but you're not getting paid for what you're getting paid partially for what you've done, but then what can you continue to produce? And a lot of receivers, when they hit that 30 mark,
do what?
The production.
What do you mean? The good ones can still play for a little bit, man. Terry can play, man.
No, Terry can play, but there's a lot of receivers that dip in production, this guy. Look at DeAndre Hopkins.
Hop was good for a while.
D-Hop was still good.
Hop was good at 30. Injuries caught up. I wouldn't be worried about Terry's age. I think the contract was fine. I would, but that's just me.
To steer this back to the boys.
Money?
Yeah,
I think that's a good contract.
To steer this back to the boys, my only reservation is Pickens' agent. It's gonna be the same song and dance, and that's the only reservation that I have. I think that he's gonna have a unbelievable year if everyone remains healthy and these sorts of things.
I need the agent.
Yeah.
You definitely don't want the same song. All right, let's talk about Trayvon Diggs and that news that came out. Where do we start? Like, I guess I'm gonna have to start, John, because we've been on this show for a long time, and I had questions, so I'm not gonna run from it. And give me the floor. I for the longest heard, maybe this, maybe that. Now, the caveat is this: he still has to come back and play well. I still want him to play well, right? But I gotta say, like, it's dope to see that he's back. That he's. Where did this come from, John? Like, was it always he was on this track? It was it he said today that there was no issues with him and the training staff, but I don't know.
No, I think there definitely were, because even when he says that there were, he never says that there. I'm trying to think how he worded it. I got it right here. He didn't say that there were never any issues. Like, everything is good now because of the fact that he's on track. He's ahead of schedule, obviously.
Right.
But he said that I have no issues with the training staff or nothing. Me and Britt are cool. That's my guy. We go back and forth. We have our differences, but he just wants the best for me. He wants me to be out there. That's also my goal as well. So, I mean, he even said that, I mean, they've had their differences about things. So we're not going to pretend like there was never anything there. There's obviously was some friction there. Nothing that has held up, obviously, his recovery. Some people are faster healers than other. The one I keep thinking about, and it was just probably because we were out at practice today and just seeing the entire team out there, is that just stunning to me if you would have told me, I don't know what date it would have been, but that right after the final day of the draft gets over, and that was the day that Jerry offered up that, if Trayvon Diggs does a good job in his rehab, he won't have the same issue that he had before. I mean, basically implying that he didn't rehab the right way before that. So you take me back to that time. So I have that on one side, and then on the other side, I have the way they sound is like Savon Ravel will be ready for the start of training camp. And here we are now, and I don't even know when Revel will even be back out there. He's still not practicing, and Diggs has just gone past that to where, I mean, even at training camp towards the end, the last couple of weeks we're out in California, there was more and more Diggs was doing off to the side where you're like, damn, he's moving really well. Like, making leaping catches, doing different types of drills, cornerback drills, and his back pedal and cutting and things like that, where I was like, man, he looks pretty sharp, maybe he's not that far away. Cause there was a time where I thought, especially after the initial surgery in January and just hearing about the way that this particular surgery he had goes, that this could be a potential like overshown situation where you might not see this guy until maybe the middle of the season. So that's why I had always had in the back of my mind, well, they were probably gonna have to make another move for a corner. But I think it sounds like from what's happened recently that over the last couple of weeks, they started seeing that he was probably ahead of schedule. So maybe corner wasn't as big of a need as maybe we thought on the outside. I still completely agree with Foots though. I mean, I need to see more on the field. You need to see him go through an entire game. That's the thing about corners, man. Corners and offensive linemen, they generally, when you look at that box score at the end of the game, they usually don't come off the field. They play the entire game. So
you're not getting the best out of him if you're rotating him. I've seen that.
Right. No. It's also interesting too about how the impact it will have on Bland. I think Bland would probably prefer to play on the outside, but if Diggs and Elam and Bland
we
are
need
all
to get down to the bottom of that.
Yeah,
we need to get down to the bottom of that, John.
Yeah, Bland's on the inside, I think, and then you got Diggs and Elam on the outside. I've never heard anything about Diggs or Elam playing on the inside. So that just leaves Bland as the only person that can do it out of that top three tier. And then behind them, then you'd have Childress that can help out. And I guess maybe Keemon Hall, Andrew Booth. That's probably what's next on your depth chart.
Let me ask you this, John, and I need your help on this because you closer to the star, you inside the building. So Britt Brown, he's the rehabilitation guy, right?
Yeah,
he works the court. And that's
athletic trainer.
That guy. Okay.
Yep.
So the strength and conditioning guy, that's Harold Nash, and I've seen him work and do all of his stuff. So what's the difference? Is Brett Brown over them, or Harold Nash got his own group of guys? Like, where do the Cowboys separation is going at with all of these rehabs and stuff and strength and conditioning?
So guys like Harold, they're around all the players all the time, in the weight room. So that's not. Britt is more dealing with players that are dealing with injury or coming back from injury. And so that's why you always see Britt with the resistance cords, because he's working with the guys that are coming back from various injuries. And that's kind of that's always the sign that, hey, they're getting ready to get on the field. This is like the next step, And so if they don't suffer setbacks, I should say. So Britt's not a guy that's going to be in there with the weight room stuff as much, whereas like Harold Nash, Kendall Smith, there's a couple other guys those guys are there every day. They're around them even in the off season. They're the ones that are allowed to, there's no time where they have to be away. They can be around the guys all the time. So yeah, they're not, I mean, obviously they have to work together on the rehab stuff, and their workout programs and stuff, but like Harold's not going to really be doing all like the rehab stuff that Britt is. Britt's the one that handles all of that.
Okay, thank you, man. I just needed some clarification on that part of it. Appreciate you.
That's great. I mean, for me, when I look at this cornerback situation, John, I think you're spot on. The Savon Ravel conundrum is, me and Sky were texting about it today. It's a true conundrum because while we're hoping that Kai Elam, camp good, he lifted the baby up to God, all that, but now, right?
Sacrifice.
That poor kid. He is back to my dad.
He looks
sacrifice.
Hey, still, so maybe that'll help him get through the season. Lord help me. And so, but no, in all seriousness, you're hoping that Kyrie Elam can hold down the outside, but we don't know, right? And you know, it was a lot of people, man. Foots, you were out on Diggs, and I wasn't out on Diggs. I wanted to know that Diggs was locked in, and you can only go with the information you're being told by reporters, by people inside the building. We all talk.
Yeah, let me give you some information real quick. There's nobody even close to Elam on the roster. So is Kyrie Elam as good as a number 2-3 corner on another roster? Yeah, maybe not. But on this one, there's nobody pushing him. There's nobody on his heels where you're like,
Andrew Booth.
This will be settled in practice. There's none of that. He's better than all of those other guys. It's not even up for debate.
I would.
And John, is that scary you, or is that like my bad, Law? Is that scary or like
it could?
I know, really.
I haven't seen him go live. You know, we haven't really seen him. We're gonna know a lot more next Thursday.
Ain't got no choice.
It's not like we see them constantly going live, all out CD. Pickens versus these guys. We see little spurts here and there, but it's not like a real game, you know? And so
it's a confidence thing for Elam. If Elam is playing with confidence, and if he can bounce back from him getting beat, catch, touchdown, whatever, I think he should be able to hold the fort down because he is former first round pick. He has that first round talent. We saw it right in camp. But from according to, I think it was Brianna, she used to work in Buffalo when he was there. It was a confidence issue when he got down, and that's why I have brought up. I hope we don't go through an Anthony Brown stage with him, where you saw it on AB when he lost his confidence. You felt it. The quarterback saw it, and they start picking on his ass. So I think that's what you want to see from Elam once the season starts. Hey, AJ gonna get him probably. Devontae might get him a few times. So just how do you bounce back?
This vision-based defense is good for him. I think that this is going to work well with him, opposed to where he was playing at. But I'll still take him. I think that we still have a better DBs than the Giants collectively than the Washington team. So I think that he's going to fit right on in. But the thing that kind of got me, Sky, was what in John and Foots is what CD Lamb said about a couple of weeks ago. None of these guys challenged me. You know,
of course not.
Yeah. So, but we don't know.
Can I be honest, Law?
Who was checking him in the league like that?
Who was
like maybe 3-4 players?
Literally one person, John. Yeah. Who else?
No cornerback 2 is checking him, and he's a cornerback 3 or 4 on somebody else's roster. You know what I'm saying?
And maybe Stingley. Those are the two. Who else can run with CD Lamb all game, John? Yeah, especially how they want to use him.
What cornerback 2, 3, or 4 is running with CD? That's who was out there defending CD Lamb all camp. You know, except for Deron Bland, which is technically a cornerback too, if you really think about it. But yeah, who's really running with CD like that at that position?
One of my best friends is a DB coach, and he always tells me, "You're gonna give up catches. You got to get these guys to the ground." I think that's what it's like. It needs to be catch and a tackle. Catching, you're fighting. Catching, you make it hard on the defender. If we see, on the receiver, we see guys, to Sky's point, they're on Elam and it's 5 yards of separation. They're running after the catch. Houston, you got a problem. If it's catch, tackle, scrappy, maybe a penalty or two, but then he gets a pass defense, you can live because that's what you expect your cornerback to be, right? I think the truth is this: a healthy Diggs, a good mindset Diggs in this defense changes things. I talked about it on my channel. It's like in this vision-based, because we all know, and if fans don't know, not to be long-winded, but Matt Eberflus wants to keep eyes on the offense, right? He doesn't want them turning and running. It's not going to be so much cover one. I remember, Dan Quinn's second year, Diggs was running all over the field, John. I mean, chasing end breakers, chasing meshes, all these concepts. I don't think you'll see that with Matt Eberflus. I think you'll see a lot more on the linebackers to cover. I think you'll see a lot more passing things off. And I'm okay with that, especially with the pass rush you're going to get. I also think it'll open up the opportunity for DBs to jump some passes. Look at Jalen Johnson. If you want to go watch how they're going to play, look at Jalen Johnson, how he plays.
He wants his corners to tackle too, though.
He definitely wants him to tackle.
Yeah, that's the
one say you got to give him to the ground.
See,
Go ahead, Scott. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I think the vision part of it for him, it plays well. He's a smart cornerback. Like, I know He can he can be annoying to a lot of fans, but he's probably the smartest cornerback in that room. So that plays well into his favor. But then you also have to come up and tackle. So that's
you got to get these guys to the ground.
That's the part that we're going to have to see.
Yeah, you got to get these guys to the ground. So that came about, John. Now, I want to talk about Bland.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so with Bland, John, you think he wants to play on the outside, but I don't. It's tough with him. Did he?
I believe he mentioned that. I thought he did, but at least that's what the word is. But I thought he said it.
It's tough, Sky, because somebody said it to me like this. He's not ever going to be a lockdown 1. He's a little bit better than a 2, but then he's really good and you project him in the slot, Bland. But then does that hurt his market value, right? And when it comes to the contract. So it's just interesting because where does Bland fit best? There's people who will tell you he's best on the outside. There's people who will tell you he's best in the slot. What do you guys think, gentlemen?
I want him where he's best at for the team. This is no offense to Bland. I can care less about how he feels about his market value if I'm the coach. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm the GM that's trying to pay him, maybe I might think about that. But as the coach, if I got Elam and Diggs are healthy, Bland, you're going in the slot. There's nothing to really talk about. I mean, seriously. I mean, what are you going to put? You're not putting Diggs in there. You're not putting Elam in there, and you're not going to not play. Are you going to bench Elam? I suppose you could if you want to roll one of the rookies or Kemon Hall in that slot. But I feel like the best bet for your team is to put the young veterans out there in Elam and Diggs and Bland, who I think fits this mold perfectly. A guy that can tackle, physical, can play the run very well, and he can carry the tight ends if he needs to. He can carry. We've seen him run with slot guys. So I think he's perfect in the slot for the scheme. That's not to say that if we didn't have a slot, like if Diggs is not ready, I put Bland's ass on the outside. Right. But when Diggs is ready, you got to do what's best for your team. And it ain't as much as I love Zion. That was only because the assumption that Diggs wouldn't be ready for 4 games.
Mid-season, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. We're not even having this conversation if Diggs is able to practice all offseason. We're not having that conversation.
Yeah, it's kind of like the old saying: you start your best 5 on the offensive line. So it's going to be similar to that. You start your best 3 corners. You got to figure out a way to have them on the field. And Diggs is good by himself on isolation. We have reservations regardless of what he's doing running with the first team, running outside of practice today. We still got to see if he can do 2 things. Can he hit and can he take a hit? Those are the 2 things, right? And with Bland, we know he got 2-way goals. He's really good with playing with leverage down inside. And he's a better tackler. He's probably one of your better tacklers on this team so far as DB. So if it's a situation and scenario, hey, I know you want to play on the outside, but what's best for the team? And his knowledge and his wisdom of the game is good. So put him down inside, and then you roll him. In the words of my guy Vach, you boogie with the 2 cornerbacks, Kyer Elam and Diggs on the outside, and go with it.
Yeah, John.
Boogie with it.
Yeah, I have nothing to argue about with either what you guys said. I think that it's, again, I don't think that it's very close on the next tier of corners on the roster. To me, it's pretty much a no-brainer that's what you go with if those 3 are healthy. Now, I think we'll see, because I don't think Diggs will be ready for the opener. So I think that we'll see some things in that game that they do a little bit differently. We'll maybe get to find out some weaknesses and some things you might need to move around and kind of play off of that. So I think it'll all work itself out. And then there's always injuries. So then you're gonna need depth there. Like you need at least four corners you can count on. So we'll see if they have that 4th one.
Best case scenario, as we put a bow on this Diggs conversation, best case scenario for me is Diggs is back. He's 26 years old and he's playing good football, because that helps your defense. Like he's a piece that can make your defense take a step. Like we all think of this may be a bottom half defense. He's good. When he's good, he's really good. And like maybe what if Matt Eberflus's scheme helps him out as well? So that's really how I'm looking at it now. In this first quarter,
especially good teams, they will test him on perimeter runs. They will see what he's got going on
100%,
for sure when it comes to tackling, especially with him coming back from this injury. So how he responds to that will be interesting as well.
Listen, all this stuff, the back and forth, the documentary, he needs to answer that question, Law. Like that's a question that fans have had, and he needs to come up and tackle. Like, because that's what's going to be required. I wanted to talk about Dak Prescott. He spoke today, and he had some really good sound bites. And so in this first block, we'll do that, and then I got some roster questions for you guys, and we'll talk about, who makes what and what are we mad about. I got some things I'm upset about. I feel like being mad today, so I'm gonna be grumpy. But right now,
the roster ain't get done yet, bro.
Yeah. Well, maybe what we're hearing and let's project still. Let's project.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
We'll
preheating
project.
we're preheating.
Yeah, we're gonna preheat it, Law, and we'll preheat it in the second half of the show. But for this next 5 minutes, right? Dak Prescott still. I thought he was excellent when he spoke today, and he kind of answered some of the questions about when he talks, he is the standard.
He knows how to control that media thing.
Bro, you can't get him. I don't think he's ever struck out.
Niners game did.
Did he?
They said, "Yeah, keep throwing that trash at them dumbass referees." Yeah,
he said that, bro.
People, not like that, but
okay. Yeah. So, John, you know what, John? When is Dak struck out at the podium? When is he?
Yeah, he made a mistake on that one after that Niners loss for sure.
John is an encyclopedia,
that
bro.
one always stands out to me.
Yeah. Credit to them or something like that. He said.
Yeah, he did say credit to them. Yeah, to the fans. Yeah.
Which one? The playoff game?
He said it in a classy way. But
remember the one where like they couldn't get the ball snapped. They were driving.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This one, I wouldn't say this is a big misstep. But I think he should have stopped saying. He said 2 or 3 different times in the contract last year about how it's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. Come on, we're not going to be doing that. Like that. That was.
I think all the players should stop saying that.
Yeah,
but
especially when you're getting that contract.
Yeah,
that resets the entire market of the entire league. Him going back to that 2 or 3 different times, I was like, I don't know if that's a good one. There might have been one other time, but I mean, that's how good he is. I mean, he's been their quarterback for a decade. So you figure talking every week, how many times he talks in the offseason, he's probably, I mean, and you break it down to how many different things he talks about in a given interview. So it's like 2 or 3 things out of thousands, So no, I mean, he is the standard. I always joke around that he's one of the few players, probably the only player that I've never felt like, I feel Mark Cooper would definitely be there too, where they don't really need anybody from public relations around them. Like, you're not going to talk them into some pretzel that they don't know how to respond to or whatever. Like they know what they want to talk about. They know what to say. And they don't, what's the key thing with a lot of people, myself included, like when I do interviews, there's nothing wrong with saying like, you don't know, or I don't really want to comment on that. I don't really know for sure or whatever. Feeling like you have to give an answer, like you should never feel like that. There's nothing wrong with just being like, nah, I don't really, that's none of my business. I don't, like even Dak said today on one of them, he was like, yeah, I don't know. He was asked do you think Mike is a patient person, like going through this contract stuff? And he goes, man, you'd have to ask Micah that. I don't know.
Right.
So he's great with that stuff. Like I don't think he's ever really needed.
Because he knows the minute he says he's not, Mike is crazy. Oh, Dak Prescott says Mike is crazy. That'll be the headline. So sharp, very sharp guy.
I thought that Dak Prescott this offseason would get a little break from other people signing their contracts, but nobody signed their APY a little bit higher. You're like, I thought for sure that Josh Allen would sign like a
Josh Allen one for sure. Yep.
Yeah. But although his base of his contract is crazy, and I thought for sure that what's the guy from 49ers? I forgot his name.
Purdy.
Purdy.
Yeah, I thought that they would get APYs a little bit higher, but everybody kind of signed below that one.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird.
It's funny you forgot Brock Purdy's name. It makes you think like, is it the OC or is it the quarterback? Anyway, we'll talk about Dak Prescott. So that was a Niners jab. I just tried to sneak it in. So with Dak, he said, Law, he ran more than he ever has. They were asking about the quad, and John, you were out there, so you could clean it up if I'm messing it up. And I was actually texting you guys behind the scenes. I said, man, Dak looks like he looks like he lost weight, but he doesn't look like too skinny. He looks healthy, bro.
He looks toned.
Yeah, he looks toned, and I'm with that. Like I've always said, as you get older, you got to drop weight. To be honest with you, can't carry that weight. So he looks on par for that still. But then also he said the vanilla offense and expect an exciting offense. And I think there were some things along the line of, they went in on the offense together, what it'll look like on second and such, if we want to take a shot, if we want who has the last with the keys. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Dak Prescott is so good when he's at the line of scrimmage. I think Shotty is gonna give him a lot of that. But what did you guys take from some of the things that Dak said? Because I thought it was outstanding.
I was just going to say on the vanilla thing, I just asked him about, because
you asked
we haven't seen you in the preseason, and Schottenheimer talks about how he's keeping everything vanilla, even like in the practice against the Rams. And so what should Cowboys fans expect from this offense? And I didn't know how much he was going to go in detail or whatever. And he gave a pretty short answer, but he just said that it's going to be an exciting offense. We've kept it vanilla for a reason. Excited about getting out there and putting it on display next Thursday. So, when he says that, it is one of those things where you kind of put it in the back of your mind, like, all right, well, we'll see. Like, will it be? I mean, it should be. You got a lot of weapons over there. I know the run game has got a lot of question marks, and I could see that part potentially struggling. But like, even if the Cowboys were to go down, let's say they went down 14-0 or 10-0 or something early, it's like you have all these options on the perimeter that you should be able to put up points. So, and especially with a play caller that, let's be honest, he's been in the building, but he hasn't been calling plays before. Right. So there's not really a lot that you can say. Now, if I'm Vic Fangio, certainly I'm sitting there going, yeah, but you're not going to do this, and this, because these are things that I don't think Dak does well. And this is year 10. I know this quarterback, they're not going to do these. Ultimately, that's the thing. Like, this isn't college where they're like, well, no, this is my offense. I'm going to recruit a quarterback for this offense. You have your franchise quarterback, who's the highest paid player in NFL history. The offense is going to be built around that player's strengths. And so I do think Vic Fangio will have some idea, but he won't know for sure what they're doing, because he's not going to be able to go off of these tendencies and things that he probably knew Mike McCarthy would do in certain situations. So there is that element that, I mean, even if you don't think the Cowboys are going to win that game, you have to be excited to just see what they have, because we haven't seen very much going all the way back to January.
Yeah, I think most of the framework of this offense is going to be so different, especially since 2018, 19. I know that most of the Kellen Moore's framework was still here even when Mike McCarthy left. So I just intrigued to see what this is going to look like different. This is going to be a different element, Cowboy Nation. Like I remember listening to Sky all last year when you said dribble with a purpose. Now we're running with a purpose. There's so many people to be happy to see GT counter, seeing some type of different running formations. So even with the Costco sample size that we've seen in preseason, I can't wait to see what it's going to look like week 1 and 2 and 3 and beyond.
And I don't even think it was a Costco sample size, though. I think Dak echoing, and I'm only going to talk about that part because I treat Dak like Jerry. I don't really listen to what they got to say. They seriously don't say anything really. And it's not for two different reasons.
Right.
Dak is just going to be PC. He's not going to say anything off the rails, but I get that he's Dak Prescott. So, you can create some things out of it. But the vanilla part, I think, is interesting because he's echoing his coach. And one thing about Shotty is he's been very straightforward that this is vanilla. We're not showing nothing. And people are a little upset with that. And to me, I'm like, that's the only advantage you technically have here going into this game is the element of surprise. I shouldn't say the only, but one of the few advantages you have, like real legitimate advantages you have, is the element of surprise.
Especially with Pickens, because if it's just moving to Schottenheimer and your receivers are, CD, Tolbert, let's say Mingo, Turpin, and maybe some guy you draft in the 3rd round. If you're Vic Fangio, you're just like, nah, in this situation, do this will do this. But now you add Pickens in the mix, and now it's like, well, damn, they haven't really had a guy like that in a while. Like, they could do this here, they might do that. Don't forget about Ferguson. Man, now this Turpin thing, like, there is a lot more to it and then also, obviously, nobody has any idea what to expect from the run game.
Yeah, for sure. Pickens absolutely helped. But I've seen Dak dice them up with Jalen Tolbert and Michael Gallup on the outside, and Kevontae Turpin and Jake Ferguson, right? But Pickens takes this to another level. But I don't want to just say the player, the scheme. I do think this scheme is going to be something that is going to be completely different than what we've seen, completely different what Vic is seeing. And for, if he wants to go in there thinking like, oh, well, this is what Dak's going to do because this is all he can do, honestly, the only thing that he can't do is run around like these other young bucks. I mean, he can make every other throw. So
talk about this guy.
You're going to have to defend every blade of grass, especially with George Pickens here,
right?
Especially with an offense that's going to be not just vertical but horizontal in how they attack you. So I like that they're all on the same page here,
right?
Nobody's panicking in that room about it being vanilla. I don't think anybody on this panel was panicking about that either. But interestingly enough, I don't want to go too far off. When they added a little sprinkle here and there in that Falcons game.
Right.
Joe Milton looked a little better than but they didn't ask him to just drop straight back and play up here. He did look a little better. So
let me say this, Scott. We got 700 people in here.
Wow.
Cowboys Collective, the best podcast in the world. Now, I'm gonna say this. You know, I do a lot of roster study around the league law. Don't think for 1 second that Philly fans aren't worried about the back end, especially when it comes to, you know, they had plans of Keeley possibly being able to play on the edge. Well, they went out and made Adoree Jackson a starter. I'm gonna tell you right now, Adoree Jackson has struggled.
Screw him up if he's a starter.
Yeah, like it's a real thing, Sky. Like they're not happy with Ringo at all. And then somebody made a good point. It's like even on the back end, you know, they lost CJ, who, for my money, you may hate CJ the guy because he's a little quirky. He's a hell of a player. Yeah, man. He was like that at Florida.
They win.
John, when he was in Florida, I remember watching him, and I was like, this guy can play football. And so you lose CJ, and somebody made a good point about Reed Blankenship. Like if he's your fourth best player in your secondary,
Dak tears him up.
I was about to say, if he's your fifth best player, you're okay. He's like 2 or 3 right now.
Still, watch CD and Dak put him in a blender.
Oh man, Reed. Listen, Reed, good story and all that. But you talk about movement, and then you talk about getting him matched up with Jake Ferguson. So I would just caution people to act like this defense is going to be this amazing defense. Now the front is going to be the front, right? Yeah, we know that. But when we really you know, we'll do this segment next week. What does the film say? And we'll have stuff to talk about the offense and the defense and really dive in. But
I have to go in, but I'm like, let me say
this. Hey, still.
We got to save it because I want to say something so bad about it. But I got to
I will say this. Make sure you guys are here next week for what does the film say about the offense and the defense, because we're gonna really have wall-to-wall coverage for this game and make sure that you guys are covered. But I'm gonna just say this. They will be looking to attack those guys on the edge. And that includes Kenyon Mitchell. Like, good rookie, not unbeatable. Like, don't think for 1 second he can't get beat. All right. Scott, you want to get the SeatGeek read, and then we'll get to this next segment?
Yeah, man. Shouts out to SeatGeek. Yeah, it's cool. Let me find it here. If y'all want to hit up SeatGeek and go to the game next week, it's only one spot to go. Use a promo code Cowboys Collective. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. And if you don't want to go to a game, you can go to a bunch of other different things. They got over 70,000 different events listed on SeatGeek between sporting events, festivals, concerts, and a whole bunch more. But you got to go download the app, okay? And they have a rating scale, 1 to 10. Green means good. Red means not so good. We want to find all the green. We want to find the good deals, and there's no better deal than using the promo code Cowboys Collective for $20 off. Shouts out to SeatGeek.
And Scott said something about green. Well, this isn't green, right? But if you are feeling you had a bad day, maybe I don't want to. Maybe you didn't have a bad day, but you just need to mellow out a little. Law, there it is. In the cloud. If you're 21 or older, get 25% off your first order, free shipping. In the cloud, they have gummies, they have anything you could think of. They probably have it in the form of, let's just say, look it up, and you'll
remember.
And remember, nothing but the best, right?
Nothing but the high. What was that? Cloud Punch,
the other one.
Hey, Soda Shop. I'm telling you. So in the cloud, they could John Leslie stupid. It could have you. I'm so. All right, here we go. I was gonna break out in a tune, but I said I'm gonna chill. All right, here we go. John, Steele, and Law. We'll get to super chats at the end of the show. Let's talk about the 53-man roster projection. All right, let's go through each room. Let's talk about how we feel, how we don't feel. I saw that Phil Maffa kind of had a shoulder. Somebody punched him in the shoulder.
Hey, look. That's a great segment. You got to lean into that one, Foots. You got to lean into that one, man. How we feel or how Phil Maffa feel.
Oh,
how you feel? Yeah, how you feel?
Come on,
how we feel? How we?
Right there.
That was a
bar.
And that was a bar still. So still, let's start with the quarterbacks. I'll start with you. Who's our three, or how we in chat chime in?
Boy, oh boy. I think they're gonna go 2 with the Greer on practice squad. I just feel like, wink, wink. Hey, we're gonna cut your Greer, bring you back on practice squad.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will argue with that. John, Law.
Yep.
No,
That's what it'll probably be.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the running back situation, which this will be one that I'll just say I don't think Deuce Vaughn makes the team. Think he's had a nice run here.
Right.
I think he had some nice runs on Friday. Law.
Yeah.
But I think it's over, and I think that the Deuce Vaughn may get another shot in the league. But how do you guys see the running back room playing out?
Can we talk to John about the Phil Maffa thing? Because I feel like that's a pretty big deal.
Yes,
there was a lot of people worried about him getting cut for numbers or what have you, and I think they hit him with your shoulder hurt, right?
No, it's good.
No, it's a little banged up, but no, your shoulder hurt.
It hurt.
That's what it feels like, because
He's like, and then if he said no, it's fine, they would say,
no,
okay, you're gonna go to another team then.
Okay, they would have said, come here, sir. I need you to run right into that wall right there a few times with this shoulder right here, so we can get a little.
Hey, Sam Williams, you see him? Go. We're gonna do some board drills and go hit him with it.
In all seriousness, John. That's what it hasn't been official, right? It's a report, but that's what it feels like. That Phil was going to hit the eye. That's why I didn't practice today.
Yeah, but I didn't see him being on the 53 if it wasn't. So this makes sense for a way to keep him on their roster, and another team can't grab him. But no, I mean, going into Friday night, it sounded like it was trending towards Javonte Williams. Obviously, Jaden Blue, Hunter Lipke, and then Miles Sanders. I know that some people would rather have Moff over Miles Sanders.
Right.
Doesn't sound like the team feels that way. So that was a Bueller 4.
Yeah. And for those, I get the Deuce Vaughn campaign. Look, his best option, if he do get cut, to absolutely come back to the Cowboys on the practice squad. He got an in-house sponsor there, and I think that they ultimately believe in him. It's just that the number just can't fit right now. From what I can see from the outside looking in, I think this would be the best landing spot opposed to going somewhere else.
I got a thought about the Miles Sanders thing, because I didn't think he was going to be on the team. I thought Phil showed enough. I'd have just go Phil Maffa, Jaden Blue, Javonte Williams. Let's roll. But I wonder if there's this thought of we're about to go up against this Vic Fangio defense, right? And Vic has been around the block. He's going to throw some things at these rookies. If it's 2 rookies in the backfield, he's going to throw some things at these guys and make them have to think, and they have never seen them. Whereas Miles Sanders and Javonte, well, I would say Javonte first, because he's the one I think is going to play the majority of the snaps. And then Miles Sanders, they've been around the block. They've seen these things. They're veterans. I am all for the other guys making this team over Miles. But I wonder if their thinking is, wait a minute, let's just get Phil on here, designate the return. Let's see how Miles handles it the first few weeks. At the very least, we have 2 veterans that knows what they're doing out there in a hostile environment on the road in the first game. I do wonder if they thought, do we really want 2 rookies? Potentially out there having to protect Dak or looking for blitzes or sneaking out, being where they're supposed to be. Just a thought I was thinking about. That does not mean I want Miles. I wonder if they think that is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think you're right. Still, I mean, this is going to be super hostile. Vic is one of the smartest to do it, and everybody thinks about running the ball. Pass pro. Show me who can block. That's
shout out to Blue too, by the way. Found he had a couple good block the other night.
This Maffa thing would also buy you some time to where you have 4 games, whatever it would be, to see where your run game's at, and maybe your run game's good, and then you tell them no, that shoulder still hurts, or the run game isn't very good, and you're like, all right, well, we got Maffa coming back. Let's see what he can do. See what
he can do. Yeah. And what's the rules on that again, John?
I believe that so since 2024, they've been able to put. You can put 2 on that IR that I don't think they count against your 53. So then he'd be able to come back after missing their first 4 games. So maybe that's what they do with him. Maybe that's what they do with Peyton Turner. It just was weird to see them both out there today. It was just weird to see guys out there today to begin with, because even with those moves made earlier,
right?
So that moves 6-7 guys off. That still leaves you with almost 30 more cuts to make. Like,
why
are these 30 guys out here if they're going to be released tomorrow? You know,
John, how does that?
Imagine?
Can you imagine practicing like, dang, I'm out. Like you kind of know, right? Still,
no, you gotta know.
Real. You gotta know. Okay,
and you dodge the people. Yeah, and before we go to the next subject topic, John, what's the rules also on calling up? Whoa! We got a lot of colors there. I see. What's the rule on calling up the practice squad people too? I think that they changed it over the course of the years, right?
You get 3 times, I believe, right?
Yeah,
3 times.
You're talking about like bringing them up and then going back to practice squad. Yeah, I'm almost positive it's 3 times. Let me see. I had the rules right here in a second ago. Yeah, I believe it is 3
times. So they're gonna use that. Squad. That's probably why the 30 people were out there. It was like, okay, we work.
Well, here, it's that, but then it's also, let's be honest here. Like I say all the time, I used to get really like locked into this roster cuts too, and then every year that goes by, the more and more I'm just like, they get almost every single player back that we fell in love with at training camp or in the preseason or whatever. So you also want to show that, hey, I know I'm probably not in the 53, but hey, like keep me on the practice squad. I want a chance here. So I think that's part of it too. And then also you want to put forth a good foot because of the fact of you might be coming back to the Cowboys one day. And so you don't want to just go out there and be like, oh, I know you guys are cutting me. I'm not practicing today.
No, man. Let me say this. I need somebody to give me a drop. Yeah, give me a drop for a second.
Take some money out. All of it.
We want to talk about 2 things that just happened. Okay.
Yeah, it is 3 times.
3 times.
Lost.
They have to be
3 times. 3 times, and that's a good thing for the Cowboys. And then that's a leverage that they can play because they can say, would you rather be on the Cowboys or go to the Cleveland practice squad? Just weigh your options out now.
Yeah, you'd only leave if that team was going to add you to their active.
53.
Like if somebody was like, hey, we could use another physical run back. Let's go get Phil Maffa. Like we kind of liked him in college, liked what he did in some of those preseason games for the Cowboys. Let's go grab him, So that's why you would do a move like this, prevent that from happening.
I think they're telling Maffa too, we have plans for you. Just wait this thing out. Yeah, and I think that's what that's about. But I want to say this.
A lot of sense.
A lot of sense, John. And this makes
if
a lot
Phil
of
Maffa
sense.
doesn't get drafted in the 7th round, don't the Cowboys seem like the perfect team that when his agent's sitting there with him, because the agents start talking to you in like the 5th, 6th round, are like, hey, if you don't get drafted, these are the best situations for you. Wouldn't you think? Like, is there anything about when you're looking at their depth chart going, I don't know, they got Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would look at that roster and be like, yeah, no, that's one that I want to, let me go sign with them,
Listen,
it was the most wide open room, supposedly, going into this thing. But problem was
he ran angry too.
Yeah, he looked like he looked in college in regards to running behind his pads. Blue and him, if they're not going to draft a back early, they got to be your guys for the future. At least when I say future, next year.
For sure, Sky. And Sky, you always told me, man, when we get in season, the show will be booming. And Big Chank said it, man, over 800 people, and the numbers kind of going back and forth, but we've been over 700. Man, shouts out to y'all. Can I get a drop, Sky? Yeah, give me another gunshot, something, Sky. Come on, hit me.
That's a cool ball right there, baby.
There we go, and then
Keith, shit,
my man.
Oh, yeah, come on with it, man.
Keith, we not only do we appreciate you, Keith, but we appreciate everybody in this chat. We are gonna the best Cowboys podcast in the world. We don't have to do anything. All right. This is if you want it, and we're competitors. So anybody wanna jump in box with us, Law, just tell them. This is what we doing. We popping our pop. Now, we got 10 minutes here. We want to get to the rest of the supers, but I want to get to the rest of these position groups because I feel like I said I want to be grumpy. Let's skim. Let's skim.
We're going to hurry up, dude.
Tight ends, we got the 3. I know.
Yeah, Princeton Fant is somebody who I think could be on that maybe I wouldn't normally pick. It would not surprise me if they're going to go 4, then obviously he would be the 4th one, but I wouldn't count him out just yet. But yeah, the other 3, I don't see Schoonmaker being cut. I know some fans have talked about that.
If Brevin wouldn't have got hurt, maybe. But because Brevin missed all of training camp, I think Schoon is a lock.
Brother, they're not cutting a second round. And Brevin was back out practicing today, so that's a good sign for Brevin.
That's good
he
stuff.
Was back. He had the high ankle sprain, so he was back out there today. That was a good sign.
Out of those guys, John, Princeton Fant got a lot of flexibility because he can also be an H-back in the back.
He's a blocking somebody, boy.
Yeah, that's why I think will go take your face off. He's better served for me to be on the practice squad because Rivaldo Fairweather is, I think, a better tight end than him. And where overall, I think Princeton Fant is more versatile in that he can quite literally be your replacement for Hunter Lipke if something happens.
There you go, right there. Still,
that's not worth the roster spot to me. That's
no spot to me. Because Hunter Lipke year 3, you looking like John Kuhn. Like now it's time for you to. You got your man body.
Use check is what I want to do.
Use check. Let's go. Still, receivers. Here we go. CD George. Jalen, Cavante Turpin. I mean,
I'm glad I don't have to make this decision, man.
I don't think it's tough, to be honest with you.
I got
easy work for you. No, here's why it got tough to me. I keep hearing about this ain't gonna be 6. I've been thinking 6 this whole time, so it was no big deal to me. Now this feels like 5, and it's like, God damn. So what are they gonna do with Holden out, Brooks out, Flournoy? Flournoy has to make this team. But I thought Holden was going to make the team, but it don't seem like it now.
Yeah, I don't think Holden's in. I think that last spot's down to Flournoy and Brooks. So I shouldn't say it's easy. I think either one of them you go with. I just think it's going to be Ryan Flournoy. I think he just brings more, and then he also kind of does some of the stuff that Mango did. So he just natural fit to me. And then just what he's able to do on special teams. I think that's what separates him from Holden. But again, I think Holden, there's a good chance you get him back on the practice squad.
Yeah, Flournoy, he has the body to be able to be a true X. If one of those guys go down, he can run down on teams. Like he may have that upside to be a true guy, but Trayshawn Holden does too, Scott. Like it is, you're not wrong there. It's just one of those ones.
Whatever happened to Cindy Fajoko? Sorry, go on.
Indian with the ponytail.
Yeah, he caught one good pass on us though one year.
Oh, John is sick in the head.
Did he say Holden was a semi?
No, he said what happened to
what happened to Simi. I was thinking of like last receivers to make the roster, you know. That everybody gets excited about, but it's like if CD and Pickens and Turpin and Tolbert are healthy, none of these other guys are really going to do anything on offense, you know.
The thing is with Simi, he just never was physical. He was just so finesse. Yeah, and that was a problem with it.
So with Flournoy, I think the reason why, I mean, for multiple different reasons. He has taken, you can see the year 2 jump.
Yeah.
And I think with the year 2 jump with Flournoy, I do think that is more valuable than the upside of the rookie Holden. And I think he has immense upside. I do. But Flournoy has put it together to show you, so do I. You know, I can go in and feel, honestly, I don't even want to say it, but let's just say he has to play because some things have happened to the people in front of him. I think he has the physical tools to be able, at the very least, make big plays. Yep. Maybe you might miss out on some of the routine plays because he's still learning. He's still trying to figure it out, the NFL and whatnot, that these other guys have been in the league 4, 5, 6, whatever years. But big plays, I think he gives you more upside to make big plays if one of those guys goes down. So
kind of like Sky, a little bit of a more physical Cedric Wilson to a degree, like out of nowhere.
I think he's more talented. I think
he's good, man. Flournoy is faster.
Strong hands. Now is he more versatile?
Very big body.
Because Ced could throw the ball, Ced return punts, but he was really good. So I think they both had their strengths. I think.
Can we talk about the blocking?
Receiver said was a more solid guy and versatile guy. Yeah, and there you go, blocking too. I'd rather take him blocking.
How much did they run this? And then we'll get on to this last one. How much did they try to run that insert play last year with Jalen Tolbert? And it was like, Mike,
go look at the 23 film.
But at least Flournoy, what I've seen in the preseason, now this isn't against the guys, but he's inserting in those runs and trying to finish guys. Like he actually on one of Deuce's long runs, he had a block. He really blocked him in the back, but you just see him come flying in. John's like, okay, he wants to block.
I think is that the one he missed, kind of, but at least he made the attempt.
Yeah, and I'm like, man,
no shade at JT, but I think that this year, Flournoy, if given the opportunity, he may he may kind of match him and surpass him if given the opportunity.
If
I'm
given
not.
the opportunity.
All it's going to take for him is for Dak to trust him. If Dak trusts him, he's more talented. Like JT's not the most talented, not even close to being the most talented in that room.
Yeah, you gotta trust.
No,
Just
no
trust.
yak.
Be where you're supposed to be. All right, D-line. This is the one I want to talk to. This is going to be a headliner for me.
You mean O-line? Or you don't want to do the O-line?
Well, we can talk it, John.
O-line is about 10, 15 minutes, man. That's going to be tough.
Remember, I got a hard stop at 5.
Right
you got to run.
Go, John. Go, John. I got a hard stop at 5.
All right, real quick. I mean, it's the first 5, Guyton, Smith, BB, Booker, Steele. That 5 is locked in.
That's a lot.
Nate Thomas at 6 is locked in. Brock Hoffman, 7's locked in. I think TJ Bass, the same thing. So that's at 8. I think a Johnny Cornelius makes it. He was their 6th-round pick this year. So that gets you at 9. So 10 just comes down to Akeem Adeniji. And then 11 would be Sadiq Charles. So if you want to keep 10, then Charles is off. If you want to keep 11, then you have Charles. So I had 11 on mine, but I don't think they'll keep 11. They'll probably keep 10. I just had 11 because I think this is the best depth they've had in a while on the offensive line. But
that's good stuff, John.
Adeniji had some good reps, but
he did have some good reps, Law.
Yeah. So you're right on the money with him. I thought that he would be one of the guys to get the boot.
So awesome.
Yeah, you got him in there. Yeah.
We're out on awesome.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I mean, the big thing with me on Richards is how much they just kept moving him around throughout from the beginning of camp to the last preseason game. It was just like almost like they were hoping to find like just maybe one of these spots will stick and that'll be his spot. And they just have not really found one. And so I think that's why they end up moving on.
Usually not a good sign. We've seen them do that. I mean, Let's Go was playing guard. Josh Ball, they moved in the guard. And honestly, I would roll with Adeniji because I think he's a better veteran. And then Cornelius, I think, has shown upside.
He's been good.
More than I think what Awesome Richards showed early. And what you got 4 years of control with Cornelius. You have 2 now left with. Yeah. So I do think that plays a factor as well. And let's be honest, neither of those dudes are touching Nate Thomas right now. I think Nate Thomas is your lock backup guy.
He's so good, guy. Like you talk about year 1 and year 2 development.
Talking about another jump, that's
what a difference a year make, God.
Yeah. And you know what? Shout out to Connor Riley with coaching because you saw some things that he struggled early on in camp to where it was just like now he's gotten so much
I'll be
better.
shocked if he makes it over unless Adeniji gets one of those winks because I think Adeniji has looked better than Awesome. It's just a numbers game. If they want to carry 11, then sure, but I feel like that's heavy.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll skim through the linebackers. I think we're all in agreement here.
Yeah.
Shamar James has done enough to make the team. Damone Clark, Jack Sanborn. Damone Clark, shout out to you. I'll raise my hand. I was out on Damone. He has done great this offseason.
That's my
dog. Flat out amazing. Capital A, Damone Clark. Jack Sanborn, Kenneth Murray, Maris Lewis-Fowl, where your linebacker room was once questionable is now a strength to me. With the coaching, it's
DeMarvion Overshown's going to likely stay on pup.
Yeah,
right. So we'll be 4 games, and they can reactivate him or have 21-day window to decide. I believe is how it goes. So he could potentially he can have 7 weeks off if need be. So
and one thing we know about Overshown, he can run, but we don't know if he can take a hit or he can,
you know what,
he can run though. I saw that play.
To be fair to him, he didn't get hurt last year from hitting people. He got rolled up on.
Yeah.
So to be fair to him, but he is thin. That's that. So I do wonder how his body will hold up. I'm just trying to be fair. That's all.
They're gonna take their time over. So
I hate somebody to go low.
Injury, it is what it is. Back to back, and you get back to back knee injuries. You have to call it injury prone, bro. I'm sorry. I hate to say it, but
all right. Defensive backs. Deron Bland, Kyrie Elam, Kalen Carson. That's interesting with Carson. Andrew Booth, Zion Childress.
I'll get rid of.
I mean, he hasn't done anything, but
is he one of your DMV kids?
He is. And I don't, bro.
I thought he had a lot.
He literally
hold on. Because keep going with this cornerback room. Because we getting rid of.
No, just where he's at is a good stopping point. I agree with everyone you have. And then the last one, there's one spot left, I think, and that comes down to that Keemon Hall, Israel Mukwamu. I do not think both of them make the team. So I on mine had Keemon Hall, but it wouldn't surprise me one way or the other. But I don't think they keep both of those guys. I think that's right where that's where the drama would be at corner.
We keeping Carson over potentially Izzy is crazy to me.
Oh yeah,
you're not wrong, Sky. Because he hasn't done anything.
Izzy has some versatility to him, and at least we've seen him have success. Like that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
literally hasn't practiced.
Like it's
I mean, maybe
crazy.
they do. I don't know. I'm just going off of my projections of what I think.
It's crazy how Carson
Keeping
played.
Andrew Booth over Izzy's crazy.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Like even with your guy Carson's Foots, like I've seen that Browns game, that Browns tape, and then the very next game, the Saints tape, he's been gone. I never saw him play again. Yeah,
well, they don't put that man on IR and give
even
him
the Ravens
I don't
game.
think you can trade him. I don't think you
Ravens
can do
game
anything.
was the Ravens game. He just looked like the league was just too fast.
You guys are some big McQuamu fans, man. How'd you guys feel about him playing so much in that last preseason game?
I know that normally is a telltale. I hate it.
About that. We're talking about, for me at least, we're talking about what the sixth corner. If I'm talking about the sixth corner, give me the guy that has versatility that can play outside at safety. I'm not a big fan on the inside, but big slot he can do it. Yeah. I think he's a little bit more physical than Carson. He's had playoff games.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a no-brainer to me. I'm putting Carson on IR. Now, if you want to talk Izzy and Childress, I think that's a bit more of a conversation because Childress, you got more years. I think there's more upside for that slot position. That's very important. But Izzy and Carson, I'm not even.
Yeah. All right. There's the one I want to argue about. And
who's that?
I just don't want Mozzie Smith on the team. And here's why.
Oh Lord.
And click this up. I'm working on just taking things and looking at it for what it is. He played in the third preseason game. And these are against backups. Atlanta Falcons backups. Outside of, and people, it's so funny. People,
he got a TFL. He got a TFL.
I know.
He got a TFL.
Where literally he was unblocked. But I'm like, bro, outside of that, he literally made no plays, John.
The way that the sideline was celebrating with him when he came off the field after that, I felt like was how they would celebrate if I made that play. Like, they were like,
John, this is
crazy. Hey, just let you know.
We're gonna let for one play a reporter come down from the box and you can sit there and try and make a play like that. I mean, they were like, I honestly don't even think that he thought that they should have been reacting that way. Like,
it's embarrassing.
Guys, I'm a first round pick. I can make this tackle.
I'm about to read something I wrote to somebody yesterday when he asked me. I said, quote, I thought it was telling when he made that unblocked tackle. He looked surprised and everyone was so happy for him like he was a peewee kid making his first play. That's crazy, John. We didn't even talk about this before the show.
Yeah.
And I said the same thing. I'm like, the reaction was kind of wild, but hey, man, good for him.
And it went all the way onto the sidelines too. I grabbed my binoculars. I was like, I want to see how like everybody responds. They were going crazy over there. Like, again, like it was somebody who like was on the roster bubble, which maybe he was. I think he's on the team, but
he's not getting cut.
But for him to be playing that much in the last preseason game is wild.
Why, John? Why still? Because if he's not going to start and he's not give you nothing versus backups, it's tomfoolery. It is.
Let me see who's
because the guy
waiver wire right quick.
Because the
come on,
guy,
give us a defensive tackle.
Yeah,
I'll text it over to Steven and we'll see what we can get done.
I lied to you. No, I hit B up and said, "Hey man, you need to run CJ Okoye's name up the ladder. You need to run his name up the ladder. I don't know how to do it. Who you got to go in there buy beer for? But that kid will come in here right now and be your best nose tackle, and it wouldn't even be close.
I've heard a lot of people talk about that Clemson kid. I don't think that's happening from what I've heard.
Dude?
No, he's talking about the
70s. No, absolutely.
Desmond Watson.
Yeah. No, John's talking.
I'm talking about Wilkins,
draft.
but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Christian. I thought you were talking about Peter Woods.
Desmond Watkins, he went to Florida.
I'm in draft mode already, John. I thought you were talking about Peter Woods. You know, he's like gonna be on a number.
Wilkins went to Clemson, right?
No, he did. Yeah. No, Christian Wilkins went to
Wilkins.
But Peter Woods comes out this year, 2026. He's gonna be like one of the best D tackles in the class, if not the best player.
But you asked why? Two reasons. The number one reason, the guy up top, it sounds like he does not want him off the team. He wants to give him another chance because it's a first round pick, and the Cowboys are reluctant to move on. It takes some time. It took Taco it was middle of the third year.
Did they get rid of Taco year 2? Did they?
Or was it two? It was second year.
After the second year, did they?
Maybe it was Tristan Hill that was the third year.
The other part of that too is you don't have anybody as a coaching staff to say, no, we need to move on so that this guy can come in and do. You don't really have that person to argue with the front office.
You could also argue the second part of this. It's not like you got a whole bunch of bodies in that defensive tackle room. You're just so excited about. Like I shouldn't say excited. I am excited for what Toia can be, but we're talking about a rookie 7th round pick. You shouldn't even be relying on Toia. So, okay, so you're not like, hey, let's just, he's going to stop everything. I love what Perrion Winfrey can bring, but he's, again, a rotational guy. But you don't really have that rock solid one tech. So I think they're thinking, let's just roll shit at the wall. He's part of throwing it at the wall. See if he can figure it out in year 3. So those are my 2 reasons. Jerry ain't trying to get rid of him, and he's a part of throwing it at the wall.
If you hold on to him, if you're gonna hold on to Mozzie, I know, my God, we got to dip up out of here. But if you're gonna hold on to Mozzie, just don't play him 60 reps. Don't play him 30.
That's why I'm at law. It's just like it's
you're gonna hold on to him.
Damn if we do, damn if we don't. Law, and this when you get to that in life, I'm just like move on, because I mean. It's gonna your fans and staff is gonna get irritated with him playing, but he has to be there to be toxic.
You're lying to yourself. I'm not trying to be toxic, but you're lying to yourself if you put on the preseason tape and you are excited about what you see. You're lying, and it's not. It just is what it is. I don't think it's
Take
a fit.
things for what they are.
I don't think it's. I think he put 3 games out there to show that damn, this might not be a fit. But if we don't have a choice, then you just gotta hope like hell he turns it on in the regular season, because it sounds like you're going to need him.
Yeah, I don't know why people think I'm hating. It's not hating. This I loved Mozzie Smith coming out, but again, he hasn't done it, and you're not going to show me a clip or 2 and get me excited because, So I will say this, guys. On Thursday, what we'll do is we'll recap the roster. I also want to revisit. I remember I wrote down our battles. I just want to revisit those as we recap the roster. Any other news? Wink, wink. Any other breaking news comes out, we'll talk about that hopefully, and we'll sell this thing into next week where we'll be doing Philly all week next week. So I hope you guys will be locked in with us. The best podcast in the world, the Cowboys Collective, John Machota, Law Nation, Skywalker Steele. I love you all. We will see you all on Thursday. Peace.
No doubt. Toxic talk.
Hello.